I actually pressed the freaking button. I just didn't put the mic in. God. All right. Hello and welcome to the Crypto Jungle. My name is Blue. Here on the channel, we keep crypto simple. We're here to teach you how to trade and invest in cryptocurrency. If you want to learn how to make money and keep it, then subscribe below. So in today's video, we're trying to find support. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of the top altcoins and Bitcoin as well. You know, we're in a localized downtrend. So what our number one goal is to try and determine where these support levels are being built. So there's a couple things that we can do to kind of build that thesis of support, and then we also make note of kind of, you know, the more the lower targets so that we're prepared for those downside moves. So we got a bunch of new subscribers yesterday as a result of my video poo-pooing Crypto, which, you know, that's not my style of video, but I kind of, you know, he's a high energy individual that I kind of wanted to do a reaction video on. So I want to welcome all the new subscribers. So here is kind of the normal format of the channel. What we do here is we do technical analysis. We take a look at the charts, we try and determine strength, and then at the later end of the show, we go through some of the requests. So if you have any coins that you would like me to take a look at, drop them in the chat. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin here. Yeah, they all turn quiet when the price drops. They don't want to face you. They don't want to face you. You know, it's important to realize that you have to trade with the confirmations. And what happens at the later stages of the bull market is people enter higher and higher and higher. You know, we have new people coming in at higher and higher levels. So the whole notion of what it actually means to wait for a confirmation is really scary. You know, a true confirmation, like if this consolidation was to end, not saying it will, I have a lot of conviction that there's more upside in this market. But if we were to get a bearish confirmation of this ending, the true confirmation is a break below this level with a bearish test that is unable to hold. And that's not something that somebody, you know, just entering the space wants to hear. Nobody wants to hear that. Okay. So, you know, saying that, yeah, we'll confirm a bear market if we break below 30K. That's not something that anybody that purchased at 63K wants to hear. But that is why you need to kind of submit to the fact that if you're showing up now, you're showing up at the later stages of the bull market, and, you know, make money, but don't get too exposed, because people can make money in bull markets. But the things that get people rich is when you participate in the bear market, when the coins have bottomed and you start buying quality projects on a low interest, like a low sentiment area, and you hold those into the next bull market, because there's an ebb and flow to every single market. You get asset rich, and then you get dollar rich. So people make money in the bull market, people get rich in the bear market. So if you're showing up now, you know, this market's not going anywhere. This market's going to be here for a very long time. And furthermore, I don't think we're done with the bull market. We're still in a bull market, in my opinion. There's nothing that is indicating that this is over. We have not revisited the 21-week moving average since basically the breakout of the accumulation. So I have this area marked right here. For those who don't know, I have a weird EMA that I use, and I sometimes get questions on it. So I use the 147 EMA. All that is the 21-week moving average when you're on the daily time frame. So you know, 21 times 7 is 147. So that's all that is. So we can look on the daily time frame. We have this area right here. This is kind of the golden pocket. This is where all of my short contracts will be sold. This is where I will probably buy more. This is kind of the golden pocket that I'm looking for if in fact we do get down to these levels. Now, we have support levels all over the place. We have about 8 hours left in the daily candle where we could start to support some bullish price action. Let me drop down to a smaller time frame. Let's go down to the 4 hour. And we can see we're having a little bit of recovery off of this area where we're getting that bounce. It's not exactly clear. We don't have super clear support levels for where we are bouncing off of. So that's a little worrying. I like to see clear bounces off of macro support levels, but either which way, we are reacting off that level. So if we can get above you know, $52,000 for the daily close, or basically above the open of today's close, print the daily candle as green, I think that that would be a pretty bullish confirmation that this level right here, which was the area of the breakout, is holding. So we're gonna have to wait and see. You know, we are kind of having a bit of a recovery, so it's looking good. There's 8 more hours of price action ahead of us before we can get to that point where we potentially close the daily above there. And if we do that, then we might be at support. You know, there is a lot of support. There is a lot of buyers willing to step in at the $50,000 level, $50,000 level. So just because I have targets down here for, you know, my short closes, it doesn't mean that they're going to fill. It's just, you know, if we reach down to those levels, I'm really going to be looking to step in as a buyer. So the trend is your friend until it ends. We are in a local downtrend. So yes, let's see what we got going on in the chat. We're bouncing off the 100-day moving average. I don't like moving averages, but a lot of people use them. Yeah, so that's a fair point. You know, confluence in the market, if you have a lot of people looking at something, you tend to find people trading on those ideas. So even though there's no real fundamental reason why the 100 moving average would kind of hold, a lot of people are looking at it. A lot of people are going to step in as a buyer if that level hits. So there's just, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where people come in. So the 100 moving average, let's just take a look at it. Let's see. Let me add that moving average. Take a look. Yeah, so we're bouncing off of that. So it's holding as support tentatively. So yeah, you know, people are looking at it. More people. It's a measure of health. You know, everybody says it. If you're new to crypto, you'll probably hear it at some point. Bitcoin bounces off the 21-week moving average. It's a point of interest. So, you know, if enough people talk about it, it's worth kind of paying attention to. There's no real fundamental reasons other than the fact that it kind of signifies a retracement and people are willing to kind of, you know, step in as a buyer after those types of moves. So that's pretty much Bitcoin. Let's go down. Well, let's take a look at some of these smaller time frames. Yeah, we're starting to rally off. We got super oversold on the RSI. So the relative strength is very weak. You know, we have a lot of weakness on the relative strength. We are starting to break above that on the RSI, getting above the 40, which is where you start to trend. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that we get a bullish close on the daily today. So be on the lookout for that. That would be a nice little confirmation in my books. But yeah, there is the possibility to lower levels as well. All right, so let's take a look at some of these other charts. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum on FTX. I released an Ethereum video yesterday saying a big move was brewing. That has not changed. I really am quite bullish on Ethereum. I think Ethereum is really setting up. And it's funny, you know, like the market dumps and the dislikes just come out of the woodwork. It's going to be interesting for me to be a content creator in the bear market because I don't know if you guys ever look at other channels like Crypto Kirby. Crypto Kirby, man, that guy was hated in the bull market or in the bear market. And I freaking loved the guy. Like he inspired me to be an honest analyst. He's a little rough around the edges and he's kind of brutal and his commentary is kind of snarky, but his analysis is really good. And he was right for a lot of the bear market. So if you aren't already following him, go check out Crypto Kirby. He's a bit of a character. Don't get me wrong, he's a bit of a character, but yeah, his analysis is pretty solid. But man, people hated him in the bear market. He had so many dislikes. People would just pull up his video just to dislike it. So we'll see if I end up going down that path. So anyways, that was a complete tangent. Let's talk about Ethereum here. We had our breakout on Ethereum. We came down and tested. We were rallying off of the strength as Bitcoin seemed to be holding support, and then Bitcoin spoiled the party again. But just look at the demand. There's a ton of demand coming in. Look at this. Like, you have a ton of demand coming in on this tail. This is a very bullish close. If this closes green, if we close anywhere near $2,500, like, Ethereum has so much strength, and it's coming from the fact that the Bitcoin whales are wanting to play with Ethereum. And I know that because the Ethereum Bitcoin chart is just such a bullish chart. So for those who are new, there are a lot of trading in this market used to be very different. You do not have the option. In the previous cycle, you did not even have the option to be trading altcoins on US dollar pairs. It was all Bitcoin pairs. And, you know, that kind of makes sense because Bitcoin rules the space. So you want to make sure that any trade that you're doing is going to outperform the performance of Bitcoin. So naturally, people gravitated towards, you know, these Bitcoin pairs. But with the rise of stable coins and the introduction of the futures markets, USD holds a lot of value in today's markets. But the Bitcoin whales, the big OGs, you know, there's a lot of liquidity locked up in Bitcoin. So there's still a ton of people referencing these charts. There are many large net worth individuals that exclusively trade the Bitcoin chart. And when we're looking at this price structure on this accumulation campaign, this is a multi-year accumulation on Ethereum when compared to Bitcoin. We are in a megaphone pattern that is printing higher highs, printing higher lows. We just printed our new high. We're holding very resilient. Like, the market is dumping, guys. The market is dumping, and we're still holding a candle body close above the previous wick high. This is a very healthy chart. This is a very healthy chart that's telling me that any of the whales that are wanting to participate in Ethereum, all they need to do is just wait for Bitcoin to show some strength, and they're going to start rotating some of their funds into Ethereum. I'm very bullish on what is going on with Ethereum. Do you think the news has something to do with the dip, or is it just whales doing whale things? It's usually a mixture of both. So there's many factors that go into a reaction. It can be a news event that triggers it. You know, the initial reaction was caused by over-exuberant and over-leveraged traders. When you have a large percentage of the market in over-leveraged longs and there's a dip, it liquidates, and you get this chain reaction of this free-falling effect as those liquidations, you know, stack on top of each other. You know, you clear out the 50x, you clear out the 25x, you clear out the 15x. You know, you get rid of all those people that were over-leveraged. And then from that point on, you know, we're looking at the strength in the price structure, and the localized trend was showing bearish retests. So we headed to lower levels. There was some pretty bearish news, or the market did not receive some new tax announcements that President Biden in the US is proposing for capital gains tax. These are simply just proposals at this point, and they will likely not pass, as the Republicans still hold a lot of control inside of the House. But anyways, you know, I'm not going to get into the politics of it or at all. But you know, people heard it and it made them upset, and so they started selling some of their assets. We're seeing a pullback in the equities markets, we're seeing a pullback in the commodities markets, and we are not decorrelated. We're still a speculative market that's going to be affected by those types of things. Kirby annoys me when he constantly bangs his hands on the desks. I told you that we were doing this. If you want to do this, then you have to join VIP. We are going to go and we're going to short it again. I don't know. It's a terrible impersonation. If you don't know Crypto Kirby, I'm sorry. You had to endure that. Yeah, I do like his kid voices, you know, James at the water cooler. Anyways, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Cardano here. So Cardano, not the best trading range that I like to kind of participate in. A lot of hype with Cardano, you know, a lot of people got involved with this and they expected for higher levels. It's kind of, you know, we have a lot of demand coming in here, so that's good. I think that, you know, bullish case scenario for Cardano is just a sideways trading environment. Let's take a look at what's going on with the Bitcoin pair, because the Bitcoin pair is going to have a little bit more relevancy as this market continues. So let's just see what kind of, you know, it's not super clear on the US dollar pair. So this is something that's a lot nicer, actually. I really like what I'm seeing here. Let's actually go down to the 3-day. I got some sort of bullish idea on the go here. Yeah, so we have a bottoming pattern. It's kind of an inverse head and shoulders. So I don't know if you can see that here, but this is basically the bottoming pattern, and you have that head and shoulders formation right here. We came into this area right here, which is holding on top of the trading range. This is a very bullish place for Cardano to be, and it's actually flagging. So in terms of Bitcoin value, Cardano's looking really good, actually. So the US dollar pair doesn't inspire me, but when I'm looking at this pair, it's actually quite nice. Let me zoom in here. So it's a little bit of a reaccumulation after decline. We can draw a trading range around that. So don't be surprised to get a test down to you know, this level right here. Still a ton of demand coming in. So that's a really good thing to see. A good solid confirmation of a continuation of this trend is a break above and then a continuation. You know, if we can break above there, that would be a great buy. I don't think Cardano's done. I really don't. I think that there's a lot of people that are hyped about Cardano, and there's a lot of strong hands that still hold Cardano. There's a lot of whales that are holding Cardano, and they kind of they effectively lock up the supply. So if there's not a lot of supply to go around, if there is an increase in demand, we have to have a markup event. So at least in terms of the Bitcoin chart, I'm really liking what I'm seeing on Cardano. So that's looking good. Let's see what we got in the chat. Do you use margin? I do use margin, yes. So on my FTX account, if you don't have an FTX account, sign up down below. It's a really good exchange. I do take margined positions against my portfolio for the purposes of hedging. So we're in a bull market. I mentioned earlier in the stream, I have a short on Bitcoin. My portfolio is structured bullish. And this is how you have to think. So, you know, you have different segments of the portfolio pie, and how you kind of how you assemble the different segments of the pie will be your bias for the market conditions. So, you know, you'll have a certain segment of the pie that's cash. You'll have a certain segment that's Bitcoin. You'll have a certain segment that's altcoins, and you'll have a certain segment that's kind of your hedging tools. For me, my portfolio is very much so structured in a bullish direction. I think that there's more upside inside of this market, but that doesn't mean that I don't hedge, because I want to reduce some of the volatility in these downside events. So I do have a short, but it's such a small percentage. My portfolio as a whole has such a small percentage on the actual short side that you know, the hedge really isn't doing a whole lot other than just, you know, allowing me to see that there's a P&L with the downside, which is, you know, but yes, I do use margin. If you're new to trading, I recommend that you avoid any leveraged instrument. Futures can be used responsibly. For the example that I said with my Bitcoin short, it's 1x. It's 1x short. And that basically just neutralizes a position and effectively responds like cash. And if we start going bullish, it can be a little bit better than cash, because the funding rate will actually pay me. You know, the longs will have to pay the shorts, and since I'm short, I'll get paid for that contract. But we don't need to get too involved in that. Yeah, Cardano's looking good here. Let's go ahead and take a look at VeChain. So VeChain, huge tear, beautiful. We got up to the psychological, we got up to that psychological level of around 25 cents, and you know, we've retraced. Now, this is the beginning of a new trading range, in my opinion. So if we go over here to the buyer's climax, we're just going to drag that across. Now, this could also be the preliminary supply. We're not quite sure yet, but we have reacted down. So we have to treat this tentatively as phase A. So phase A, we don't do anything in phase A. We just observe the price action and wait for phase B to confirm our bias. Right now, we don't necessarily have a trading range. We just have a range that is developing currently. So VeChain doesn't look like it's about to head up anytime soon. It will likely consolidate. We had a nice run. Whenever you have a nice run, you have to have a consolidation. So that's what I'm kind of seeing in VeChain. Let's go down to some smaller time frames and just confirm some of the price action here. Let's check out the 4 hour. Yeah, it's a little bumpy. Yeah, definitely a distributional kind of move here. So this is likely our seller's climax, and we might actually have another range develop. So it's very common in crypto that you get a reaccumulation after decline. So likely we kind of bounce around in this lower section of this trading range for a bit. You know, kind of bounce around in here before we get a break above and start to mark back up again. How long that takes, I have no idea. You know, time is really hard to quantify. It's more so just about observing the price action and watching the price develop that can help you determine a bias either way. So, and then we're going to talk about XRP, and then we're going to open it up to the community. So that's kind of the top coins that most people like me to kind of cover. You know, Cardano, VeChain, XRP, those are very popular coins, so we'll cover those, and then we can get into some of the other requests as well. So XRP, there's a video dropping tomorrow that kind of may go through the same thing, but it's shorter format. Some people like the streams, some people like the short format stuff, but basically we're in a bottoming pattern. We have a bottoming pattern that has had a sign of strength, and we're testing. We're going to test on top of this area right here. You know, we could probably look at this entire area as a test area, something like that. Anything below $1 is a buy, in my opinion, on XRP. I think we're really, you know, I don't like XRP per se, but I'm unbiased. You know, I can look at a chart and I can see opportunity, and I can tell you when there's a bullish setup. And as long as we hold support above this level, I think we have a bullish setup on XRP. So yeah, it's looking good. There's likely going to be some more markup in XRP. We can honestly see some pretty big numbers in XRP. So shout out to the XRP army. Anybody buying any time between 15 to 30 cents, you were buying in the accumulation zone. You were buying in the same zone as the whale. So if you want to trade alongside the whales, you're already ahead of the game. All right. So yeah, well, we don't need to go much further in that. You know, all eyes still on Bitcoin. We are holding support currently. If we come down for a double bottom, that'll be nice. But you know, we have about 7 hours left before we can break above this level at 52,000. If we get a bullish close on the day, that'll be a really good sign that there is potential for continuation. Likely we become range bound here. That'll give time for the 21 week to kind of creep itself up as support, and that will also give time for the price targets, the overhead moving averages, to kind of be able to reach some higher targets. So yeah, it's looking good. Let's, I think I got a request for one of those new freaking tokens, NKN, I think it is. I think it was NKN. Something I haven't heard of. So, you know, big move up, and we need to start a new trading range. It's phase A. So phase A is we're just waiting for the trading range to develop. We have no trading range to decide what is what. There was a huge markup event. You know, we had a nice sign of strength. If you bought this breakout here, you know, you had the opportunity at a 600%. And if you were down here, which most people weren't, this was kind of whale territory, you know, you got a 23,000% move at the all-time high, with currently sitting, you know, the most sell-off came at around this price here. So, you know, a 1,500%. A lot of people made a lot of money. When a lot of people make a lot of money, we need to consolidate. So that's just kind of where we're at with that. All right. Let me just catch up with the chat here. So what do I think about 100x? It's gambling. It's for degenerates to play with their $100 and make, you know, $10,000 bets with $100. They are often liquidated. You know, it's essential. You know, we need those people to use 100x. Let them do it. You know, they're obviously not here to make money. They just want to see P&L go up and P&L go down. The more liquidity, the better. If they're just gonna, you know, pump $100 into the slot machine every day or so, that's cool with me. We need that liquidity. It's great. Are you okay with losing money? Then sure, yeah. It is risky. Yeah, 100x is, you know, it's not just risky, it's a gamble, and you honestly don't need to you know, do much TA if you're going to be gambling. Just throw it in on a big dip day and see what happens, because it's literally red or black at that point. Actually, I think you have better odds with playing roulette. Okay, are we expecting to hear about additional institutional adoption in Bitcoin with first quarter reporting? Do public companies have to report? In fact, yes, they do. So when you have the quarterly earnings reports, they share the balance sheet of the company. So, you know, it's not that they have to necessarily announce it. They will have their portfolio allocation on the company balance sheet. So if they are in fact, you know, holding Bitcoin, it's going to be right there on the balance sheet. We hold this much of this asset, this much of that asset. So with the quarterly earnings, we could see some more adoption from the institutions and some of the, you know, companies holding Bitcoin. Because of what is going on with the dollar, it is a really smart investment for the companies in particular, because how the tax system is kind of structured, they can claim losses. They can claim losses against their tax revenue. So if Bitcoin takes a dip, they win. And if Bitcoin goes up, they win. The tax structure is built for the super wealthy and built for the corporations. They win in either direction. So yeah, it's good for them to be incorporated with that kind of exposure. Leverage is for professional or gambling plays. Yep. So you can definitely use leverage as a responsible individual, especially when you kind of use it as a hedge against your main portfolio. Anybody that's trading futures and all you have is futures contracts, that's not really the design of the futures contracts. You can do it, and I know people that do that, but those who only trade futures contracts, they trade 1.5 to 2x. The very low leverage. It's just to kind of squeeze a little bit more out. So, you know, and then there's the other side too, where people, you know, crank it up to 50, crank it up to 100, and just like, boom, I'm going to throw $100 in. That's very, very popular. Lots of people do that. It's, you know, whatever. It's people are going to do what they're going to do with their money. But I'm in this market to make money. I'm not here to gamble. Use margin. Options aren't too good as an American. Yeah, there's not a lot of options for Americans. Can't use Binance, FEMX, FTX. You can use Binance US and FTX US, but yeah. How's Link looking? Link's actually looking pretty good. You know, short term, we're definitely bearish, but that's market wide. Let me just pull up the Link chart. Let me just close some of these tabs because I don't need to keep organized with what I want to cover. So yeah, let's go and take a look at Link. So Link is a project that honestly I don't have any exposure to, which is ridiculous because I actually really love the project. I just, you know, it's always been in a spot where I didn't really want to accumulate it. I will likely accumulate it when we head into a bear market. We need oracles. I didn't understand enough at the time when Link was really kind of mooning to understand what an oracle meant. And then as I got more hands with these decentralized exchanges and stuff, I really started to understand why we need all these things. Link is really needed, and it's the most adopted oracle project. So it's fundamentally very, very bullish. You know, we're making higher highs, we're making higher lows. It is really choppy. So, you know, you can, if you're an experienced trader, you can trade this stuff. But the area that we're kind of most interested in is this area of support right here, which we're currently below. So not great, but a lot of the market doesn't look great right now. If we can get a bullish close, it's kind of the same thing with what's going on with Bitcoin. We need to kind of get that little bit higher. If we can get that bullish close above the support level, then we're looking good. If we can't, we'll probably head down to lower levels. The next support on top of Link is down in this area right here. So we can look for kind of a bounce in that area. If we fail to hold support, we'll probably come back down. So area of concern is anywhere around $20 to $25. That would be kind of your golden pocket zone if you were wanting to pick up any chain link. But if we can hold above 35, I think that would be a very bullish signal. So this daily close is going to be pretty important. We're always wanting to get those confirmations on these closes. You stick to the daily when we're on dip days. You can get information and you can, you know, determine strength in the lower time frames intraday, but I don't typically make any decisions until the daily candle has closed. NKN is part of the Neo family. Yeah, Neo's been doing quite well. I love the dumb money. Yeah, we need the liquidity. Grayscale just bought $1 billion worth of BTC today. That's fantastic. You know, that's the smart money is buying, and that's kind of where I maintain my bullish bias. For those who did watch my video yesterday where I critiqued Crypto, calling it a distribution, at no point did I say I didn't think that we could head down to lower levels. I was simply pointing out the fact that it's not a distribution. What a distribution is it's in the name. You know, there's accumulation and there's distribution, and it's referring to what the CO is doing, what the composite operator is doing, what the whale is doing. Is the whale accumulating, buying more, pulling it off exchange and putting it away to expect higher prices? Or is the whale throwing supply into the market and distributing the shares amongst the weak investors? From what I'm seeing, both on the charts and the volume signatures and with the on-chain data, is whales are still accumulating. And for as long as they are going to continue to accumulate, all of our consolidation ranges are going to be accumulations, not distributions. Distribution is when they start to throw supply into the market. We're not strong enough on the retail side to get that yet. Cody. Yeah, sure, we can take a look at Cody. So it's coming down quite a bit. There's nothing that's telling me that this is about to stop. There is a few, like this is the biggest support that we have is down here, and it's not even that big. Kind of this area right here is where I would like to see it go to. So we're looking at about, you know, 15 cents, something like that. So there's still downside room in Cody. We're in a strong downtrend. Now look at the shape here. Look at the shape of this downtrend. It's a very consistent downtrend. These can be really great trading setups when you have just that line on the downtrend. What I do with these setups is I go to the peak and I drag a line across, okay? Right down to below the support. Then I just turn an alarm on the drawing itself, and I want to know when this is greater than my line every bar. Boom. Every single day that Cody is above this line, I will be notified that it's above. So as soon as it starts to break out, I'll get a notification. I can go and look at the chart, and I can, you know, there's no point for me to enter. I don't need to enter the asset right away. So I can just wait for these signals to come in. So I'm not glued to the charts. Like, here's the setup. Let me know when the setup's here. Technically it's not a loss for taxes until they sell. It's just an impaired asset on their balance sheet. So they can actually claim against it because they're balance sheet. Well, actually, so here's the strategy. So when they do the earnings, it's not a tax. They don't get to claim the losses. You're right. They don't claim it on the loss. But what it looks like to the investors, it's kind of a stock buyback strategy. At least that's what we think Tesla is doing, because Tesla's been going up so high, it kind of needs a correction. So when they release the reports and show their earnings, if Bitcoin is down, their earnings are going to be way down, because Bitcoin is a part of their net, their net earnings. I may not be using the proper terminology. I don't know if it's earnings or not, but anyways, whatever the investors are looking at to value Tesla will be way down because of the Bitcoin investment that they made. So they're going to start dumping shares. And then Tesla's going to turn around and buy their shares back, knowing that, the future of Tesla is bright and that we can see higher levels. Now, if Bitcoin does well, now they release those same earnings reports, and it's showing that they have a better earning, so people buy more Tesla stock. So it's kind of like a stock strategy against their own company's holdings. At least it's one theory as far as the strategies. Interested to hear opinions on Avalanche. Yeah, sure. Let's take a look at Avalanche. What do I think about Launchpad? Drop me the ticker. I need to know the ticker. I don't know enough. There's too many projects. If you don't know the ticker, I don't know. Okay, so we're in this kind of accumulation zone. It's reaccumulation after decline. It looks as though we're potentially printing a spring. It won't confirm as a spring until we get back into the range. So we need to get bought back in. We're currently down. We want to get bought back in. If we can get bought back in and break this line, this would be considered the jump across the creek. That's the confirmation that the trend, that the supply has been absorbed and that demand is in control. That's the signal that you're waiting for with Avalanche. Until that signal comes in, we're in a downtrend that is doomed to continue. That's just how it is. This will continue down until we get those bullish confirmations of a trend change. So yeah, it's, that's pretty much it. We're range bound until otherwise. If you were, yeah, we'll just keep it at that. What do I think about Uni V3? I think a lot of people, we're getting very creative with what people can do on these decentralized exchanges. And the problem is people are very greedy. So they're going to try and exploit, or they're going to try and manipulate, or they're going to try and, get the most gains possible based on providing liquidity for a specific price band. But what if we leave those price bands? What happens? Like, I don't know enough about what happens with the liquidity if you are wrong. It's very much so putting in the hands of the investors the ability to predict price action, which the retail traders, the herd is very bad at doing that. Very bad at doing that. So, trying to provide liquidity for a certain band is not the best. So we'll have to see. I love innovation. I love experimentation, but it's not something that I'm doing. Certainly not. I'm not doing any. I'm not providing any liquidity whatsoever at this stage in the market. But yeah, we can take a look at the chart. Let's take a look at what's going on with Uni. So everything's on a down day, guys. So everything's down. Uni kind of, it's not immune to that. There's a lot of bearish sentiment in the market. Uni had a pretty good run here. It's looking a little yeah, no, the volume's fine. It's looking fine. Let me just throw a channel on it, I guess. So short-term bearish, we just might want to come down to maybe this level right here. That would make a lot of sense to me. Let me actually just clean this up and make it even simpler for you to see. This is a nice area that I would be looking at. So in basically the $25 level, anything around 25 bucks, I think you would want to watch how the price action responds to those levels. And if it responds good, I think that's good. Now, if we get a little bit more bearish, we could be looking at kind of the $20 level. So there's a few supports that we have. The price action above this level is not very committal. We're very choppy. We're dancing around. We're jumping up. We're jumping down. It's very confused price action. So that's showing that there's a lot of people willing to sell. There is kind of distribution occurring. There's a lot of trading going on. You know, there's a lot of people willing to dump at these levels. So we'll have to see how this develops. We need to clean up the price action because it's just way too choppy here. It's way too choppy. We need to get something more consistent, like back here, where you just get a rally, small reaction, rally, small reaction, rally, and then it just got really choppy. So I don't like that price action. Litecoin weekly looking good for a decent entry. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin's ready to turn around. I know it's been doing okay on the US dollar pair, but it's the Bitcoin pair that really has me interested. So yeah, if this level holds, I think, yeah. If it doesn't, we're coming back down here. So let me just turn this yellow. I don't know why it got pink. So, you know, worst case scenario, we're looking at 160. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that we're going to hold these levels up here at around 240, 245, something like that. So as far as an entry right here, no, because you're underneath an area of support. You don't want to enter as we're breaking. You want to enter if we get a confirmation. So again, we're going back to waiting on the daily. We need to wait for that that daily close. But let's take a look at the weekly. You were mentioning the weekly. Yeah, if the week closes on top of this, then we're looking really good. We're looking really good. Hell, if the weekly even closes here at 230, weekly close at 230 should be good, but that's a few days away at this point. So we'll see what the weekend brings. You know, the weekend is increased volatility. It's either increased volatility to the upside or it's increased volatility to the downside. Either which way, we have less trading volume. When you have less trading volume, there's less supply. There's more ability to swing the price either way. So we'll see what the weekend brings. Any thoughts on VeChain? Yeah, I took a look at VeChain. That was one of the coins that we took a look at earlier. So I've got about 20 minutes left before I got to jump into the virtual classroom. For anybody wanting to join the virtual classroom, don't follow the links below. There's more to come, yeah, we have a few announcements coming next week. Usually I promote my group, but I'm at the point now where I'm saying don't join my group because there is a promotion coming. And I look at Ven. There's Ven again. I don't know what Ven is. Unless you are an OG VeChain holder. When it was still Ven. Is it wrong to have a crush on Baloo? No, that's not wrong. I am married though. But, you know, look, just don't touch. Okay. First groupie. Yes, it happened to Berkshire Hathaway in the 90s. VeChain. We covered VeChain. You just got to rewind. What do you think it will take to decouple BTC from the stock market? What it will take is something that you're very uncomfortable with. What I believe it will take to decouple Bitcoin from the stock market is a full-on stock market crash, which crypto will follow suit. You know, all markets will crash. If the equities market truly, you know, has a crash where people lose a lot of value, something similar to the 1929 crash, it's only going to be at that point where the markets can decorrelate, because it will be a measure of survivors and it will be a measure of recovery. So what needs to happen is all markets need to crash, something very ugly, something we will all not be willing to experience, not wanting to experience, which could happen. You know, it could happen, but we're not going to like it. And then it's going to take seeing the crypto markets in particular start to recover quickest. If they recover the fastest, they're going to gain the most momentum, and they would really need to pull ahead in terms of market cap recovery. And it's only under those conditions that I think that there will be a decorrelation. So to decorrelate, you're not going to like it. So for the time being, let's just focus on correlation, because it's perfectly fine. We can make money in these correlated markets. It is what it is. Comp is the only green token. Comp has got some nice fundamentals on compound. Damn, look at that. So altcoins, listen, the altcoins are getting very resilient in these market conditions. There's a huge demand for altcoins, and you know what? Comp looks good. We have a breakout. I'll keep this really short because this actually brings up a topic that I want to talk about. Okay, and it's about comparative analysis. You know, when do you buy altcoins? When do you buy Bitcoin? You know, you need to participate in the market leaders. So comp looks great. Great to see that you have a coin that's in the green right now. We're off to the races with this is a breakout. It's looking good. You know, Bitcoin might take another leg down, so expect another leg down. It might be a good buying opportunity, but you know, that's it with comp. Let's take a look at total. Okay, this is an asset chart. This is a chart that I look at often. So total is having a nice recovery today. I have this area marked as support. This was kind of my market updates for my folks in VIP. We want a daily close above 1.8 trillion, and it looks like we may get it. You know, unless Bitcoin starts to take a leg down, it looks as though we're going to hold these levels. So this is the entire cryptocurrency market with Bitcoin in it. Now we go ahead and we take a look at total 2, which is the entire cryptocurrency market excluding Bitcoin. And look at the strength, look at the difference. Actually, let's do a side by side. Side by side is probably the best way to kind of explain what it is that I'm seeing here. Total. So this is the market with Bitcoin. Let me go to the daily on there. And we're looking at this area right here. All right, so as you can see, we're holding support on this key level of support. This is a support slash resistance flip. This is very good for the total market cap. This is looking good. Now, when we look at the altcoins, they have extended, they have rallied higher, and they have reacted less. Let's look at these reactions. So from the close to close, or you know, it hasn't closed yet, but we're looking at 14% on the reaction, whereas when Bitcoin is involved, we're looking at 18%. So the rally was higher, the rally was stronger, and the reaction was less. This is good. This is really good. So we're seeing, and it's not a surprise to anybody that the altcoins are really starting to heat up. The altcoins are really starting to kind of get that momentum behind them. The Bitcoin pairs are starting to set up. We're seeing a lot of the Bitcoin pairs outperform Bitcoin. Altcoins are strong. Long story short, or long story longer, however you want to look at it, altcoins are very strong, and we're seeing that. So I'm not worried. Honestly, I'm not worried. If we go back down to $42,000, I'm going to go long on Bitcoin. And yeah, it's just, I'm not worried. We're in a bull market. And that bullish idea doesn't have enough technicals behind it, both on the TA side and on the fundamental side, for me to flip that bias. I'm bullish. Taking a look at Sol. Sol is another winner. So Sol's actually getting a little bit overheated. Let's take a look at Sol. So Sol, you know, anytime we're in an asset that's had a ton of appreciation, you want to be a little bit apprehensive. So if we take a look at Sol on the daily, let's actually take a look. You know, we're quite overheated on the RSI, having a little bit of a move down. I wouldn't be surprised for us to head down to maybe even this level down here on Sol. Let me go to this last kind of SR flip. Now, I'm not trying to be bearish. It's just a lot of people are going into Sol right now. It's been performing very, very well. Could it continue? I mean, we're getting quite parabolic. So, you know, people are going to start taking more and more aggressive profits as we continue higher. You want to see more consolidations. If we can be range bound here and run into this wall, I think that would be an indicator that we can go to higher levels. But if we start to break down, then expect, you know, some lower levels right at around 20 bucks. 20 to 25 bucks would be a nice psychological level for accumulating more Sol. But right here, you know, we're up in the $40 level, or we kind of tapped out at the $40 level. I think that yeah, it's getting overheated. You know, by the time you hear about it on YouTube, by the time you hear about it on Twitter, it's often too late. You really, if you're struggling with these charts, why we do analysis is to spot opportunity before people start talking about it. We can know when the asset is starting to heat up. We can buy when nobody's talking about it, and then you wait for the herd to show up. That's what TA kind of allows you to do. So you don't need to know tips. If you hear a tip, it's too late. You know, people telling you what to buy, it's too late, in my opinion, in most circumstances, unless you're buying Safe Moon. Fuck, people got. What's Safe Moon doing? Did people get wrecked on that yet? They gotta be fucking wrecked on that. Dodo. Yeah, we can take a look at Dodo. I got a little bit of time left before I gotta jump into the virtual classroom. Yeah, we've already taken a look at XRP. Just gotta rewind a bit. We need more information. So FTX, it's a new edition, I guess. So it's in a bottom. Okay, so what's shitty about bottoms is they can be quite volatile. Nobody likes to really buy on the bottom because, you know, the spread from the top to the bottom is nearly 100%. You know, it's really easy to lose money when you're trading at the bottom, but it's also the place where you kind of want to, you know, get exposure. So Bitcoin's definitely spoiled the party here on Dodo temporarily. You know, we kind of jumped the creek. It's premature, so my creek line is actually invalid now. We don't even have a creek line. So this, we may even head to lower levels. I hold a position in Dodo. We're gonna have to see how this responds. We're on a low volume break of the resistance right now. I wanna see it get bought back in, so I'm gonna go back down to this level right here. This isn't the spring, this is tentatively the spring. So we're gonna have to see how this develops. We need to hold this level and we need to get a break. If we can get a break, then things are looking good, but it's really early days with Dodo, so don't expect it to, you know, nobody's talking about it. Don't expect it to melt your face. When is the daily close? It's gonna be different all over the place, but it's yeah, it's on UTC time, so at midnight UTC time is the close. I think, I don't know. Right down here. Yeah, so at 2400 UTC, that's the daily close. I was about to buy VIP. When's the promotion coming? The promotion is going to be announced on Monday. So hold off. And even though, and if you did buy VIP recently, you will also get this promotion. So don't worry. Don't worry about it. But it's just... big updates coming to the server. We have a lot of value that we're about to release here. You guys are gonna love it. Chili's, we took a look at Sol. Chili's, take a look at OMG. So I got time for one more. And then I got to get out of here. So I'm going to pick one that I want to pick, and I don't want to look at Chili's. Sorry. I think Chili's is still in phase A, still in a downtrend. Do I think it's possible to turn $50 into $1,000 without leverage? Yes, I do. Absolutely. You can do that on Bitcoin if you wait long enough. Listen, like if you buy in the bear market, if you were buying, you had two opportunities to buy Bitcoin at 3,000 during the bear market. It would have required balls to do that. I'm just trying to paint a picture here. If Bitcoin goes to $300,000, that's a 100x. People say you can't make money in Bitcoin. They're nuts. You can make money in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the safest bet. If you're new and you don't know what to buy and you don't want to lose your money, I recommend that you buy Bitcoin and hold it. You need to start your investment portfolio. Bitcoin does retrace and it can be uncomfortable, but I do believe that if you put 50 bucks in Bitcoin and wait long enough, it'll be more than $1,000 bucks. You hear about the new ones called Moona Boys? Moon Boys? Yeah. Oh, it got wrecked over 50%. Good. You know, we need those people. We need people to smarten up. You know, this should actually be, you know what, forget the charts. I'm just going to rant a little bit here before I close it out. This should be kind of the indicator. When people start just pulling on the levers of tokenomics to just like sell projects that have zero value, that are clearly unsustainable, like SafeMoon. You know, these deflationary things like Doge pumps, SafeMoon pumps, like that should have been the clue to kind of lock in some profits and hedge. I didn't lock in profits, but I did hedge. When people are spending money irresponsibly, like a degenerate, that's a clue that we're getting overheated. So learn that, understand that when people are making stupid amounts of money. Listen, I know a guy that made over $200,000 on SafeMoon, and guess what he paid? 500 bucks. When you hear that kind of shit, when you hear that crap where people are making that kind of money, it's, you know, congratulations to him, but trying to do that, like forming a trading strategy around that, is absolutely ridiculous. It happens by accident. It's the same as winning the lottery. You can't look at a chart, you can't look at a project and expect a lottery return. And if you try and chase that stuff, hearing these kind of survivor bias stories, you're going to get wrecked. You know, buy quality stuff and wait for the world to realize its value. That's it. You know, that's kind of how I approach these things. Okay, so that's pretty much all the time I got for today here, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Well, this is usually where I plug the group, but there's a promotion coming. So just wait till Monday. We'll get through the weekend. You know, I don't post much on the weekend anyways. We'll get through the weekend, and then we'll get you guys signed up in VIP on Monday when the promotion launches. So without any further ado, if you enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if there are any projects that you want me to take a look at, leave them in the comment section down below. And until next time, please trade safe. It's a jungle out there. Peace.